Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes, and we're getting the next set, or rather the next trailer for the next set of new heroes introduced into the game under the moniker Changing Winds. So let's go ahead and get started, see what they've got in store for us, watch the trailer for the first time together. Alright. Okay, alright, so it is going to be Three Houses related, I think. People kind of suspected as much. We're going to get the Idle Maiden first off. Hilda. Ooh, okay, Infantry Axe user. Frey Kugel. Null Follow-Up 3. Defense Opening. Okay, some more opening skills. Pretty cute. Okay, next up is the Sinister Servant. Hubert. Okay, so he's going to be a Red Tome Infantry. Okay, Rotter Fox plus. Oh, we're getting a new kind of or class of tome, and it looked like maybe a new AoE. Oh wow, that looks cool. I like that effect. All right, so the Kindly Devotee, and that will be Mercedes, infantry healer. So lots of infantry. We have seen a lot of other movement types recently. Okay, she's gonna get an Ether Raid specific skill, which is, you know how I feel about those. And finally, we are going to get the Princess of Brigid. Okay, so Flyer. Okay, she's a Flyer, dagger, blue dagger user. Petra. Petra is easily one of my favorite designs in Three Heroes. Three Houses. Three Houses, not Three Heroes. Okay, Omnicidal Witch, new story chapter. It is going to be a mainline story, so progressing the actual lore of Fire Emblem Heroes. And then pausing here, just to take a look, doesn't look like we're getting any additional characters. There is just a random infantry infantry sword unit there, as well as, what's-her-face. Okay, alright, so... Okay, so the banner will be here on the 7th in just a few short days. This trailer feels like it hit a little bit early. I wasn't really expecting it tonight, so I wasn't really prepared for it. But we are getting... They're riding the Three Houses hype train, and it makes perfect sense that they would do it. I think they're like pushing other stuff aside just so they can make sure that they're capitalizing on it. And it makes perfect sense because it is the current hotness. So let's go ahead and rewind, take another look at these characters. There is even distribution of colors on the banner. So equal chance to get any one of these units. Have to take a closer look at their skills, but at least design-wise or art-wise, Petra really stands out to me. I think she looks amazing. I think she's always had a great design, and I think they did a fantastic job in her art here. But let's rewind, take another look at their skills, and see if they're worth polling for. There we go. I do like Hilda's art here. It's pretty cute. Okay. So let's pause, take a look. So she has her own unique axe. It's a 16 might axe, range 1, grants speed plus 3, always a nice thing. At the start of allies combat, if unit is within 2 spaces of any allies with defense greater than the unit's defense, it grants attack speed plus 4 to those allies during combat. Interesting. At start of unit's combat, if unit is not within 2 spaces of any allies with defense greater than the unit's defense, grants attack speed plus 6 to unit during combat. That is a very interesting double-edged sword. Looks like she will support her allies, depending on their defensive stat compared to hers, and then she will similarly get a further bonus if she's solo. So you can kind of break it down either way. The condition sounds a little bit weird, but really it's kind of dual facet. If you wanted to run her as a solo unit, you could throw her out there without any units at all around her, but if there are any units around her, making sure that their defense is lower than hers. I'm curious to see what her defensive stat is going to be, but regardless, you can almost act as though it's like a solo attack speed effect, because she gets attack speed plus 6. And to the contrary, if she gets units around her, she'll support those units. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic and interesting archetype. It means that she'll be supporting units around her if she's around them, and if not, she'll have the solo boosts that she needs to deal some real damage. So it's interesting. It's interesting, and I kind of like it. I kind of dig it, I gotta say. Moonbow is the special attack speed solo 3, and just like we were talking about, naturally it's a perfect fit for her Frey Kugel, her weapon, because it does synergize with that effect if she does go in solo. Null Follow-Up 3 for the B-Slot disables foes skills that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and foes skills that prevent units follow-up attack. Great skill, fantastic skill, really, really amazing skill, to be honest with you, especially on a unit, depending on her stat line and depending on what her speed is. It sounds like she's going to be a speedy unit. If her weapon gives her speed +3, it does seem like they're going to be going that way, so she can naturally double things. And then the null follow-up, of course, will prevent follow-up attacks against her from skills, so like quick riposte, the fighter skills, etc. So, defense opening 3 for the C slot. At start of turn grants defense +6 to ally with the highest defense for 1 turn, excludes unit. So it does seem like she is a little bit of a hybrid of a support and a solo unit, and not really interchangeably, in that she's a solo unit by herself if you want to initiate or put her out there. And then in that vein, she's not going to be supporting her allies, but on the other side of that, she will be supporting her allies if she is around them. So, and doing that pretty strictly. So it looks like you can run her either way or as a hybrid. So that's kind of cool. I do kind of like that. That's interesting. I think it's been a hot minute since we've gotten an infantry axe user anyway. Okay, here's Hubert. I like his art too. Definitely plays the role of the Sinister. So let's pause here. This is actually pretty exciting. One of the we haven't gotten a new tome in the game in a really long time. I think the last inheritable tome may have been the Serpent tome. So pretty momentous. So Rotterfox Plus is a 12 might tome. If unit initiates combat, inflicts attack speed defense res -4 on foe during combat. That's actually really good. It's really good. I gotta say that is a pretty powerful effect. I mean, we've seen other skills that kind of give the boost, in-combat boosts to the unit when they're attacking, but obviously as far as inheritable tomes go, blade tomes are still exceptionally powerful even today, despite the fact that they've been trying to really debuff them or neutralize them, nerf them with a lot of just status effects, status ailments, panics, and everything else that's, prevalent in the meta today. But all the same, for people that want to use red mages, and they don't want to bother with the whole, self-buffing effect or blade tome effect at all, this is a solid option for a player phase unit for sure, if they don't have their own preferred weapon. So certainly won't snub my nose at new options for tomes. Chill Res 3 for the B slot, always a solid choice for a mage, especially in nuking mage. So at start of turn, inflicts Res -7 on foe on the enemy team with the highest res through its next action. And here's a new skill, Infinite Hexblade 3. I don't know if that's what that, or Infantry. Oh, it's Infantry. So Infantry Hexblade 3 for the C slot. More toys for infantry. Yahoo, I guess. It does make sense since a lot of the units on this particular banner are infantry units. But if adjacent infantry allies use sword, lance, axe, bow, or dagger, grants attack speed +2 to those allies, and calculates their damage using the lower of the defense or res during combat. Interesting. Huh. So it adds adaptive damage and attack speed +2 to any infantry allies near them that use a melee weapon. That's actually really good. That's really good. And that's, again, an infantry toy that I wish other movement types could use, because they could have some really interesting application, could be very potentially powerful, and it's locked to infantry, presumably, but if you love using infantry, this could be a huge boon for you. And again, we're seeing more and more of these interesting and unique buffs. So we started kind of seeing it with Naga and her special that actually created a boost or a buff that created dragon effectiveness. We're seeing more and more skills that actually add what you would see as traditional weapon effects onto other characters. So that's pretty interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing this more and more often. So again, we're seeing the adaptive damage effect on allies next to this unit at the start of the turn. So that has some pretty interesting applications. This guy's bringing a lot of new stuff to the game. So let's keep going. And oh yeah, this attack animation, it's really cool. Yeah, Hubert's tome looks pretty cool. I mean, I guess it's not his tome, but he's bringing it. So kindly Devotee. Got Mercedes here. She looks great here. I do like, but she is an infantry staff user, not the most interesting weapon combination type. So Gravity Plus is her weapon. We know what that's all about. That's been in the game, but it's a very powerful staff. Don't get me wrong. Might 10, range 2 after combat. If unit attack, unit Inflict status on target and foes within one space of target, restricting movement to one space through their next actions. Huge nuisance for the enemy team, for sure. A little bit neutralized by the prevalence of dancers, a little bit, but nevertheless, it can force wasted turns, which is always a powerful thing. Martyr plus for the assist, restores HP equal to damage dealt to unit plus 50% of attack, minimum of 7 HP. Restores HP to unit equal half damage dealt to unit. Miracle for the special, something that I think we're going to see more and more often, or we have seen more and more often on clerics, just to make them annoying and difficult to kill, especially in modes like Ether Raids, and that makes perfect sense because she has an Ether Raid skill. So her A slot skill is Ether Raid Defense Speed Res 3. We've seen these Ether Raid specific skills for the A slot, essentially based upon Ether Raid structure. So if defending an Ether Raids grants Speed Res plus X during combat, and X is calculated based upon the number of defensive structures that you have. So it's only on one side, only on defense, the defensive side of Ether Raids, but it will grant her speed and res, which are two powerful abilities. The res will keep her alive, and the speed will allow her to double and prevent doubles. And as far as a cleric is concerned, that's kind of what you want, unless of course they're an all-out offensive cleric, which it doesn't look like Mercedes is intended to be. Obviously, she comes with Gravity Plus, so it looks like she's more intended to be sort of a debuffing nuisance on a Ether Raid defense team more than anything else. Also comes with Odd Res Wave 3 at start of odd number turns, grants res plus 6 to unit and adjacent allies. The wave skills we've seen more and more, and I actually love them. I think they're pretty great and a good solution to weird hybrid teams that you might put together. It's never a bad idea to slap a wave skill in there, and so she'll work just fine in any team really on defense, on Ether Raid defense. So let's keep going. Okay, I like her art. It's very clean. Okay, Princess of Brigid. We're going to see Petra here.
I can be teaching you.
Yeah, her art looks actually amazing. And she's a flyer, of course, after my own heart. So she is a flying dagger unit, a flying blue dagger unit, apparently with her own preferred weapon. So she comes with a hunting blade, Might 14, range 2, and effective against beasts. Okay, so that does answer a question. When we saw the effects of Brave Eliwood's weapon, since it's beast and dragon effective, you're wondering how close to the chest Intelligence Systems was going to keep beast killer weapons. So at the very least, Petra is also going to have a beast killer weapon, which is could be a huge boon against the deluge of beasts that we're getting in the game. It accelerates special trigger cooldown -1, which is always a very, very good effect. Effective against beast foes. At start of combat, if units' attack speed defense res is less than that of an ally within 2 spaces, grants +5 to units' corresponding stat during combat. Calculates each stat bonus independently. And then, of course, the effect of Dagger 7, the whole debuffing, the naturally debuffing effect that daggers have. That's a really weird effect. I don't know how I feel about that. The beast effectiveness is great. The special cooldown -1 is great. But at the start of combat, if units' attack speed defense res is less than that of an ally within 2 spaces. So this is what kind of perplexes me about this weapon effect. At start of combat, if units' attack speed, or any of their stats, if any of a unit's stats, her unit, Petra, if Petra's stats are less than an ally within 2 spaces, grants +5 to Petra's corresponding stat. But I guess the confusion that I have is it says an ally. So it doesn't specify the ally with the biggest stat or the ally with the least stat. So how does it differentiate between multiple allies within 2 spaces? Does it just choose the one with the least amount of stats? Or does it choose the one with the most amount of stats? I guess the condition is that as long as there is an ally within 2 spaces with a stat less than her, so I guess it doesn't matter as long as one of the units around her or one of the allies around her has an attack minus hers. It's a weirdly convoluted and complicated condition. I don't think it's that challenging of a condition to meet. It's just very strange, and I don't know. I don't know what necessarily the intent is behind it. It seems very odd of a condition in general. So I've got to say, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about Hunting Blade. The Dragon Effectiveness and Special Cooldown -1 are great. So that alone makes it a good weapon. It's just the additional weapon effect I'm not completely sold on. I mean, at worst it does nothing, right? And you still have the Beast Effectiveness and the Special Cooldown -1. So, I mean, that's still something. It's still better than a lot of options out there. So she has that going for her. Luna for the special treats foes defense res as if reduced by 50% during combat. Attack speed form 3 for the A slot. Grants attack speed plus X to unit during combat. X equals 2 times the number of allies within 2 spaces. Oh, max of 7. Okay. Alright, yeah, I was about to say, that can get ridiculous in things like, in Aether Raids, but also in like rival domains where you can just literally fill up units around her. So that's definitely a really powerful effect, especially for emblem teams, I would say. Movement-based teams that stick together and have movement-based buffs. You're going to want to stick together anyway to get those goads and wards, so you may as well just have this on there too, an additional effect, and then you'll get +7 to both of those stats. That's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good. The bonus isn't so absurd or anything, and obviously it does synergize with things like Owl Tomes and variations of that, so I definitely see some applications for this skill, and it's kind of a separate expansion of the bond skills. It has more flexibility and less flexibility at the same time, so it can be used for different types of allies. So I love introducing new types of skills and new applications for skills, especially for offensively oriented skills, just because that's really the lifeblood of build creativity, right? So, B slot is Aerobatics 3. Oh, okay. A unit can move to a space adjacent to any infantry, armored, or cavalry ally within 2 spaces. So, naturally, I think that's meant to work with the rest of the 3 houses units that's on this banner. And she also comes with Ground Orders 3. At the start of turn, grants the following status to adjacent infantry, armored, or cavalry allies for 1 turn. A unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 2 spaces. So, interesting. So, I mean, it does seem like she is a team player. She wants to stick with her allies. She's going to be great in hybrid teams out of the box. Create a lot of interesting movement options, different mobility options. And, of course, she introduces this both, attack speed form 3 also works with Hunting Blade, just because the more units you have around her, the better chance you have that somebody is going to have a stat that's less than her in any one of her stats, right? So, all right, well, let's keep going. Take a look at Petra's attacking art. She looks cool. She looks so cool. I like her a lot. Okay, so new story chapter, Omnicidal Witch. We just talked about that. Hilda, Hubert, Mercedes, and Petra are going to be here in just a few short days. Now, full disclosure, I have not started playing 3 Houses yet, so I'm not familiar with these characters yet. I know probably a lot of you have beaten the game by now, so you have an attachment to any one of these characters, and you're rearing to go and ready to jump in on this banner. I would stress to you that Choose Your Legends is coming. They said it was coming in the mid-month, so if you want those characters, you may want to hold off. So you just want to be careful, prioritize. Take a look, and if these are your priority units, then these are your priority units. We're probably going to get a Forging Bonds event, so we'll get summon tickets as well, so that'll ease the blow to orb stashes everywhere. But again, my recommendation would just be careful, be mindful of the fact that Choose Your Legends is coming if you are interested in that banner. Of course, you're going to be able to get a free selection, so if you only need 1 unit from that banner, then yeah, you may as well just go in on this new hero banner. In terms of possible demotions, honestly, I don't think any of these guys are going to get demoted. If I had to guess, they all have a new skill. Some of them are more premium than others. Even Mercedes, who I think is probably the weakest kit among them, she has one of the Aether Raid defense skills, which I don't think we've seen in a demoted unit. So my money would be on no demotions from this banner if I had to guess. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there are demotions. But I think that's pretty unlikely personally, but I guess we'll just have to see how things play out. So let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner, if you're going to be pulling for any of these characters in particular, which one is your favorite. If you do end up pulling on the banner, I wish you the best of luck. Hope you get all of the characters that you're looking for. Me personally, I am only going to be using the Forging Bonds tickets, I think, and maybe an orb here or there to shoot for Petra if I get a healthy number of blue orbs or blue stones in my circle, but otherwise I'm not spending orbs. Choose Your Legends is coming. I have to save up, but good luck to all the rest of you who are pulling. So hopefully you enjoyed watching the trailer with us for the first time. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, taking some time out of your day to spend with us. We really, really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.